Now what I have here, and my students I'm sure will attest to this, my college students, I've been teaching these courses for 22 years and they hear me say this constantly. I'm very big on the vernacular, and what I mean by that, I use stuff that's just lying around, and like any real tech that does this type of work, it just comes with the territory. You got to be able to kind of, make things up as you go. So what I've got here is I've got tongue depressors that have been cut, and I've even put that 12-degree cant on the leading face. So I'm confining that nut between two tongue depressors to protect the guitar. So the biggest rule in doing guitar repair, especially guitar restoration on valuable instruments, or any instrument for that matter, when you're finished your job, if you do it right, it should look like the guitar's never been touched. Okay, this is where we're going with this. So we're basically cutting down through the center of the nut and just right down to just above the glue line. So I'm not showing you this so that everyone's going to run out and change the nut on their Les Paul. I'm showing this for my level 2 students and for people that do this type of work. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm very big on the vernacular, using stuff that's lying around. Like most techs, you kind of make it up as you go, that kind of thing. But the one thing that is a dedicated tool is the StringTechWorkstation. And am I beating you over the head with it? No, I'm not. This is simply a tool that will make your job easier, quicker, and safer. That's why 5 out of 6 students in the last level 2 class, they picked up their tech decks. All right, next step. Once again, vernacular. This hairdryer actually gets pretty hot. So I'm going to hold this about an inch above that nut. We're going to heat right through the body of the nut, right down to the glue line, and then we're going to ease that nut out of place. There we go. Going to just peel back the tongue depressors. We're going to grab on to that nut that we've split in half, so that you can kind of see this procedure. I'm going to set the iPhone down and ease the rest of this out, and then we'll come back. I'm going to get real fussy here, and I'm going to go at that last little bit there. I'm going to go at it again. 4 minutes with a hair dryer. I don't want to force anything. I want this thing to come out super clean. There we go. We took the extra precaution to reheat that little tiny chip to make sure that we got that sucker out right on the glue line. No lumber. Of our nut blank, this sort of cross-sectional view, you can see that nut actually does go a little bit lower than the binding, and that's why we were so careful getting that nut out. Now we're going to cut the ramp back and the crown of the overhang to match the fingerboard. Once again, if you look at the other video on the white SG, I go through this whole process. I don't have to explain the whole thing again. Also, the Nashville Cats video, go towards the end and you'll kind of you'll pick up on the whole recrowning thing and exactly how I do it here on the tech deck. But yeah, we'll clean that up and then we'll be ready to do all the final adjustments and cut the values in the compensated nut. Okay, this has all been cleaned up now. Steel wool. I use a little tad of lemon oil on a cloth. It's just a quick wipe it on, wipe it off, and we're good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to reinstall that pickup. Just dropped it back into place. Yeah, these little mini tool cribs that cluster around the neck assembly on the tech deck, that's what they're for, man. All those little screws that you sort of drop, and all of a sudden you're on a seek mission for like an hour and a half trying to find a screw that disappeared into the carpet or rolled under the bench. All right, I very, very gently open those nicks so that the string sits in a nice pocket. That bottom third of the diameter of the string sits in a nice pocket, and that actually increases the strength of the fundamental note. So you don't, a lot of the time if you see your tuner kind of wavering, part of the problem can be at that contact point on the saddle. Okay, I've cut my initial values into the ledge of the compensated nut. At this point, I'm going to chase the string path through the nut now and put the strings on. All that final adjustment will be done. There's a compensated nut. Signed, sealed, delivered. This thing's in tune now. And this is what we ended up with the bridge. You can see we had to raise those posts of the tailpiece to get that low E and high E to clear the back of the bridge. Pickup height is pretty good where it is. Just sort of check it here. Here's a little trick I've been using for years on Les Paul tailpieces or any type of stock tailpiece. I have a little insert, right, that I kind of screw into the body, and I adjust that insert until it's at the right height so that when I tighten my tailpiece lug down, it butts up against that in the insert inside the female fastener. So it essentially locks the post rock solid. So that no more wiggling, no more moving around. It's like rock solid. Anyway, just a little tip for Les Pauls, 335s, etc. Cheers. Okay, so we've wrapped this post in Teflon tape to kind of tighten up the fit of those threads to stop that bridge support post from kind of jiggling around. You don't want to put too much on, but I mean there's enough there now that we've kind of stiffened that up. It's not moving now. It's solid. This one in comparison, right? See that? Here. Okay. So here we go. We got all our thumb wheel adjustment. No problem. You still adjust it easily. There's no apparent looseness or tightness. It moves smoothly, but it's rock solid in the threads. That's why we're doing this, to get rid of this. So you got that little shrink wrap on there. I've got to put the shrink wrap on that second post. Line that up and press fit. There we go. Now that we don't have it, we've got rid of all that kind of wiggling and wobbling. Rock solid, rock solid, rock solid. Okay, so we've taken care of this end of the guitar. Listen to that F sharp.